Not
And
joined by
here's
Jeffrey. Still not here.
he's still not here. I think his computer's still destroyed. We don't know. He's not responding to my calls. I cry every time when I call him. It hurts me emotionally. I feel that I'm not needed.
He's lying. He's a robot and therefore doesn't have emotions. We know
Much
because
like
we gave
I
him the
have
void
emotions
conf.
when computers are being destroyed, Nick. Much like Apare does when fuck everyone, fuck Leon getting shot. It's
Yeah,
about the car.
we gave Brandon the void conf test and he failed.
Oh, I'd fail that shit in 100%. Um, but anyways, Apare. Our race started up again. We're actually, chugging along on the trail.
Yeah,
But that dastardly cigar tea or guilty cigar, Nick.
yeah.
He's
Okay,
up to his
so
own
first of all, with
shenanigans.
the race start, I really feel like it's bullshit that they do the whole like when you come into town 8 hours from then you're allowed to like take off again. But then we changed what the next stop of the town was, or the next town stop was going to be. So we had to delay the race 24 hours, and then they just said fuck it, let everybody go at once. Like from a race
Yeah, a
perspective,
little
that's kind
weird.
of bullshit. Like whoever got to
Like,
the town first would have to be like, this is a horrible
yeah,
thing
this is
for me. Like
not
I
fair.
was
This is
ahead,
not
and now you've
fair.
just gotten rid of my lead. So I thought
Yeah, but
that was kind of bullshit.
they needed some other way to have them restart to not make it seem kind of stupid,
Yeah, and not have it be the train stops and
like
blocks
unfair.
off whoever the first two were. I think it was Dylan and TJ, and then they just wait for everyone to show up.
Also, that was a little weird. Was that you had to race the train, get in front of it,
I mean,
and
to
then
go over the one bridge across
yeah,
the Missouri River or whatever it was.
it was a little weird. Also, very dangerous.
Yeah,
Someone was going to die.
um, because we already did the whole outrun the train thing earlier. We talked about the Fast and the Furious scene that they were
Oh,
ripping
right, right,
off.
right. But no, Nick, this is very different. See, in that scenario, they were perpendicular, and this one
Yeah,
they're parallel.
yeah, very
Very
different.
different concepts. Very different concepts.
Mhm.
The lines are going in different directions. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, we're ripping off an entirely different movie. I'm not sure which one, but I'm sure we've raced a train in a different movie.
Name a fucking movie with a train and a car,
Yeah.
and they've probably done both of them in the same fucking movie.
Yeah, I'm sure there was a Fast and the Furious where they drive alongside a train at some point.
But
Um,
anyways, Guilty Cigar's motivation is he wants to steal the race money.
yeah, and
That's
we
it.
now find out also the reason of the people who hired Gil to be here, who he pretty much ignores right at the beginning of this episode.
And basically kills.
Yeah, he was hired by a railway owner man to make it look as though cars are slower than
Garbage.
trains. Yeah, because he wants the race or unreliable because he wants the race to
Yeah.
end and have people continue to for a very long time use the railway so he can continue to make money.
He's an old tycoon, Nick. He's doing his part to keep his monopoly.
I know, but still, like
He
if
looked
you
like a Monopoly man.
he
I
did
think he had
kind
a
of,
monocle and everything.
but he was kind of fat. If you've got like that much money, like
Oh,
if you
please,
had
Nick. Monopoly
early,
man is fat.
he wasn't fat,
He's
he
fat.
was svelte.
I meant more like this. That's a propaganda version of him. In reality, he was fat as fuck.
Oh, probably. Um, if you were like a railway tycoon and you had like early or late 1800s railway money, I feel like you have enough money to just buy into the whole car thing. Like he could have invested in cars and just rode the wave of the next big thing rather than like I'm going to spend all this money to ruin this race so people continue to use trains. Like just invest in cars if you think they're going to be the next big thing. That's the
I
whole
mean, you
point of
say this,
having
but
money.
I think Exxon's really trying hard not to have solar become a thing. Although I think recently they started to invest in like solar power, and like other energy companies are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But for a long time, they're like, nope, oil's the way to go, and or
I
natural
guess
gas.
I guess it depends on like when in the process we're talking about. Because I'm sure a long time ago Exxon didn't want to have solar panels because they were still too heavily invested in oil and they
Yeah.
were not at all invested in solar panels. So if they let solar panels become a thing right away, they would be fucked. So they needed to like burn off some of their oil in this inventory and start building up their position in solar panels before they could let clean energy be a thing. But regardless, I still think it's a dumb idea for this dude to resist the concept of cars this hard. But
I do
regardless,
as well. But then again, his character's stupid and he dies.
yeah, he gets thrown out of train. I also so he gets like chucked straight out of train and like blows out half the wall because he's fat as fuck. I guess it never occurred to
Also,
me that like
Gil's strong as
trains.
shit.
Yeah, Gil is strong as shit. It never occurred to me that I guess trains, like passenger trains, would be made of wood. Like I
I
always
guess
envisioned they'd be like made
so.
of metal and shit. But like
I've never been on a train. Well, hold on, no. Sorry, I've been on like metros and subways and stuff, but I
I've
guess
been
they
on
wouldn't be
yeah the
making
Amtrak,
trains out
but
of.
like that's different. I've never been on like an old timey train, like the steam locomotive.
Yeah, but like, are they? I don't know if the old ones were even like made out of wood. Like parts of them had to be metal. I'm pretty sure. I
I mean,
thought.
parts of them were probably metal, but like if you're gonna have something, move across the country, you would want it to be lighter. And like if wood can stand up to the motion of the train, why wouldn't you use
Yeah.
wood? It's easier to carry or easier to tug along. So I guess there's no reason why I wouldn't. I mean, like you, I kind of always envisioned them being all metal, but when he
Right.
got chucked out the side of the train, and I was like, dude, he just threw him through the metal. And I stopped to think about it. I was like, I guess
That's
maybe
not
the
metal.
passenger things would be wood. Like it kind of makes
Uh,
sense if they were wood. I don't know. Maybe
Irregardless.
yeah, maybe in reality they would have been metal, and this was just an inaccuracy. But I could convince myself that this was correct.
Yeah, I could see it being right.
Yeah.
What actually happened was they had the animation of him getting thrown out of like a doorway, so they just like stamped it over the train.
Over the train. Okay, I'm
Yeah,
willing to believe that. Um,
but yeah, he's fucking thrown out. And then Guilty Cigar takes the calls his snakes, who I guess are stowawayed in the train. I don't know.
yeah,
They're
something like that.
there, and he takes everyone hostage. He takes the train hostage, and I think he lets half of the train go.
He
Not like half the
lets
people, but like
he
half
lets a
the
lot of the
cars.
the oh yeah he lets all of like uh the storage cars at the back go.
Yeah. And he blows it up.
He blows up the last car, which I guess was like the train owner dude's car, like personal car, I
Oh,
assume.
maybe.
I don't know. And they let her go of all of the storage cars, so it's just the passenger cars left.
But more importantly, our girl, um, Sophia,
Sophia, there we go.
Sophia, is now taken hostage, and she's just kind of there for the rest of the episode.
Yes.
She does one thing later on. Well, she screams later on
Yeah. I mean, to be
that
fair,
well,
there's not a lot she could do with
yeah,
several
with
guns at her
guns.
head. This was
Guns
something I was going to
everywhere.
bring up last episode. No, last episode. 2 episodes ago. Whenever they were doing I want to call spaghetti western, but it's just Nod.
I think that was last episode.
Um, but as Kosame and the other members of the Gil gang were fighting, I was going to compliment it, and I forgot to mention this, on the fact that the pistols that they were using were single action revolvers, which is very, because I looked it up. This is set in like the late 1800s. I technically looked it up today because of something we'll talk about a little bit later to do with Dylan.
Okay.
But this is set in the late 1800s, so when we're trying to place it in time, it is not the early 1900s like we were kind of suspecting. It is somewhere in like the 1880s.
Oh,
Um,
damn.
or like
I don't think cars were around
1880s,
then.
90s. But it's definitely not the 1900s yet. And so the reason why I was impressed with the gun thing and the fact that it's single action is that is the way guns would have been back then. Single action is where you have to pull back the hammer manually before you can pull the trigger and shoot the bullet. Um, and so last episode they were all single action revolvers that they were using. This episode that completely went out the window and dudes were just pulling the trigger on their guns and the guns were going off. So
Gil had an infinite. His gun was an infinite fucking barrel.
it
Like
was
it just
not.
kept.
I counted. It wasn't.
Did he actually reload at
He
some point?
wrote. He reloaded on 6 when the at the very beginning. I didn't. It got harder when he was fighting against TJ, but he did also pull one of TJ's guns at one point, so I can't really count then how many bullets he used. But the first 6 bullets he shot exactly 6 bullets and then reloaded.
Okay.
I was paying attention to that one because he shot one warning shot. He shot 2 at somebody and then shot
I think he shot two
3.
at Leon.
I think so. I think he shot 2 at Al and then 3
No, he
at.
shoots one at Pare.
Yeah, he
With
shoots. Yeah, shoots one in
his,
the air. Oh, he shoots. Yeah, one at. No, he doesn't shoot a Pare with
yeah,
the
he does.
first reload.
He
He shoots
doesn't.
with one
Okay.
in the air to like scare them all,
Okay.
and then he fires twice, and then he fires 3 times in like the close range fight, and then reloads. He reloaded on 6. I was very impressed by that one. Um, when he goes off against TJ and Dylan, it was harder to keep track, and therefore I did sort of lose count of how many times he was shooting.
Well, like when he's shooting the cars, I guess in between the cuts he could have been reloading, but like he just starts fucking going off
Oh
on
yeah, at
everything.
that point, yes, I also did stop counting at that point. So yeah, at that point he was kind of just fucking wailing on the cars with an infinite number of bullets. But up until that point, they were kind of doing a good job of keeping track of it. But
Oh, something else I liked about that scene was that when he like signals his gang to come over, there's like a good distance between the rail, the rail car and him. I
mhm.
just imagine him like just jogging to him, waiting for him to give them the call, and like the other guys are just like wondering what the hell they're gonna do.
It's either yeah they were like just sort of awkwardly amassed in like no man's land in between where all the cars were and the train, and they were just waiting for Gil to give the signal, or they were like all the way still back at the train, and after he gave the signal, there's a time you don't see of like 20 seconds as they like sprint out from the train to get there.
If
Either
this was
way,
like
that would be hilarious to watch.
if this was like some sort of if this was like the Naked Gun, we would see those 20 seconds of them going from the rail car just running, and Gil just like waiting there, it's kind of stomping his foot.
Yes, everyone just sort of awkwardly stands there. Gil's like, just wait for it. They'll
Yeah,
be here soon.
wait. They know the signal.
Just, I'm intimidating you guys. You just need to wait for it to play out here, okay?
He also does like the typical like bad guy thing where he kills one of his henchmen.
Yeah. He gives him the
You
shot
love,
through the heart.
yeah, and you're to blame.
I mean, that guy was to blame. Gil said, don't do anything. Just stand there with your guns menacingly.
No, he says shoot anyone who's like breaking the rules or some shit.
Oh, does he say that?
Yeah, that's why the guy says he broke the rules, and then Gil's like, no, fuck you, and then just shoots him. I make the rule. He said, I say I give the orders, and then he shoots the dude, but he never told him to do anything other than shoot anyone that's not following the rules. So Gil, terrible manager,
Yeah.
100%, complete fucking idiot.
I mean, yes, but I mean, really, look at that dude. Did you think he was going to be a good manager? Do you think at
He's
the end of the year he's going to be like, all right, everybody sit down. We're going to do employee evaluations now?
he needs a black mustache because this guy is just evil. He's that type of evil character.
He doesn't have any color in any of his hair. It's all white, isn't it?
All right, then make it a white mustache. I don't know. Just give him
No,
like
if you give him a white mustache, he'd look too old.
yeah, that's why it's a black mustache or maybe
But
a
it
gray
wouldn't work
mustache.
with
I
the
don't
rest
know.
of his hair. If he had a black mustache and white head hair, I'd be like, this dude is having a problem.
I mean, but he is a problem. He's got like fucking scars. He's got a glass eye.
Yeah, we found out that he has glass eye. That is true. Or some sort of weird prosthetic. Do you think he gave himself the scar now? Like, seeing that he has the snake eye, that is clearly a fake eye, do you think he gave himself, like, cut his own eye out in order to put in the glass eye?
Do you want to know how I got this eye? My
Which is-
friend's wife was a caretaker.
and an orphan.
Was she an orphan?
Yeah.
Okay.
They, that was part of, we're talking about the Dylan and Claudia thing.
Right. I thought like she like cared for orphans. She wasn't
No,
an orphan.
Gil mentions that they bought the orphanage that she grew up in to like
Oh,
rebuild it,
okay. And then it got set on fire.
and then it
No
got
wonder
burned to
they
the
did
ground.
it.
This is why I looked it up, because when we see the scene of like the orphanage, burned to the ground or whatever happened, I am
This is a
pretty
sign.
certain Dylan is wearing a Union Army uniform,
Oh.
because it's the only thing I could think of, because we don't know where it's set. So there are like some Mexico Texas skirmishes that it could also be involved in, but he's wearing an all blue uniform, and it's one of those like kind of longish ones, and the only like all blue like that
Yeah, during
army
that time would
uniform
be
is the
the
Union
Union
Army.
uniform. Or just the army in general, because I think they use blue.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean the Union Army would be the army.
Right. Not the
um
traitorous South.
yeah, right. um
Long live the Union.
Stars and Bars forever.
Stars and bars.
No, never mind, don't say that. I
Wait,
take that
yeah,
back
that's the
immediately.
Confederate
I take
arms,
that
the
back
Confederate flag.
immediately.
You fucking idiot!
I mean, I was making a joke. I can't believe you went along with it.
I forgot what the stars and bars were. I
You
was
said
thinking of-
Union Army, and I said no, Stars and Bars forever. As a
Oh.
joke, I want to reiterate, I said that as a bit.
well, hold on. I thought you said the stars and bars agreeing with the Union Forever thing. I didn't
Oh,
hear
okay.
No, Carter.
Okay. I want to reiterate, that was a bit. We are not condoning the
We only
Confederacy.
live in Virginia. We don't.
Yeah. And technically, we live in Northern Virginia, not that other part of Virginia, which is all of the rest of it, except for like 5 counties. But the weirdness of our
So,
state and the horribleness of the Confederacy aside, Dylan was on the right side of that war, and when he came back home, his girlfriend.
I'm guessing the wife. Like, yeah, I'm guessing wife. There's
Okay.
a little locket of her.
I was more.
Wife, girlfriend.
The other would be like sort of like an Al Sophia thing, where like they're sort of friends, sort of more than that, in sort of like some awkward liminal stage.
I don't know.
Um,
Maybe.
yeah, we don't
I'm
know
just
what's
gonna go
going
with
on with
wife for
them.
now. It's
Okay,
super
that's
simple.
fair. I mean, they
His
are
wife's
taking
dead.
care of orphans rather than having children, although, maybe they don't want kids. But anyways, yeah, his wife's dead. And somehow Gil knows about it.
Because he's the one that set her on fire.
I mean, probably. But how does Gil know them, but they don't know Gil? This returns to, like, the
Yeah,
1,000... They bring this up, is that
there's
Gil...
1,007, which I don't know what the 1,000 has to do with anything, but I assume there's 7 of them, because they say, the other 4 are dead. I think that What's-Her-Face was one of the 7.
Claudia?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know, because there's 2 episodes left. Like, just
Yeah.
at this point, just like show me a picture of all the 7. I'm like, okay, cool. Don't care about that one. Don't care about that one. That's the wife. That's Gil. That's TJ, and that's Dylan. Boom. There we go. That's all I fucking need.
I mean, but the fact that they don't recognize Gil until he's basically... You just know that it's Gil is... I'm assuming they've never seen each other. Like, I'm assuming whatever the 1,007 was, they
Maybe
didn't...
they're supposed to be like the mythical, like the best, they're the best outlaws. And
Yeah.
They don't really have, they don't really interact. They're just the outlaws. They're not like group.
Maybe it's like a World War I flying ace, where it's not like, there was a squadron called the Aces. It was just like if you killed, a certain number of German pilots, you became an ace. Where this is like if you, did a certain number of like stagecoach robberies, you became part of the 1,007.
Oh, well, in that case, 1,000.
Yeah, it was like 1,000, whatever number it was, and it went up by 1 for every person who like did a certain number of crimes.
Maybe, but I could swear at some point they talked about how they were a group.
I feel like you're right. I kind of remember that happening too. Because that was why it wasn't weird when Dylan and TJ like knew each other immediately.
Yeah, because they would have interacted with each other. I also like how they're bros.
They're kind of bros.
They're kind of bros. They are bros in the same way that that one. What was that one show we watched about the Toblerone?
Oh,
Yokio.
New Yokio.
Yokio. Was his name Yokio? I thought.
No. What the fuck was it? It was oh fuck. What was his name? You're talking about Jaden Pinkett Smith's character, yes?
Or yeah, Jaden Smith's character.
Jaden Smith. There we go.
And the one white dude.
Yeah.
Just the one guy.
The one white dude from the other part of rich New York.
Yeah.
Or Neo New York.
In the same way that they were bros.
Yeah. Kaz Khan and... Oh god, what was the other guy's name?
Kaz, I remember Kaz now.
Arcangelo Corelli, that's what it was. Kaz Khan and Arcangelo Corelli. Fuck off.
Real talk, New York was fucking hilarious. I love that show.
Do you mind if I vape in here?
Hey Kaz, say you're my homie. Anyways, they have the same relationship as Kaz and Arcangelo.
Yes, they very much do.
And also we found out that Apare is a technophile because he cares. A motophile. He cares more about the cars than the people.
Yeah.
He was very upset that the cars were getting shot.
Yes, willing to sacrifice his life because the cars were threatened. And then they actually got shot, and he again endangered his own life.
And well, Kasami's now almost dying too.
Yes. Well, I'm pretty sure he's just straight up dead.
I don't think so. Until I see that body 6 feet under, I don't think he's dead.
I mean, the dude passed out from blood loss, and they're not even in a car on the way to a hospital. And this is like the late 1800s. This dude should be dead.
Real life, Nick. He should be dead, but he also dodged bullets last episode.
I mean, again, to your point from last episode, He's not dodging the bullets. He's
Yeah,
dodging where they're going to be pointing the gun.
it's true, but I just don't think he's dead.
I
Like I said,
mean,
until I see that body 6 feet under and them throwing dirt in the fucking grave, I don't think he's dead.
he should be dead. He just
Yes, that
should be
he
dead at this
should be
point.
dead. He got shot in the gut,
It will be
gut-ish
weird
area.
if he is dead and Apare has to like do the rest of the race with just him and Totito in that car together. It'll be kind of awkward.
Hodoto? Hodoto.
Is that not what his name is?
It's Hodoto. I thought you said Todoto.
Oh, did I? I'm sorry.
Maybe.
Um, it'll be weird if Kosame dies and it's just the two of them hanging out in that car together as they just sort of awkwardly drive in silence as they try not to acknowledge his ghost.
Yeah.
It's gonna be weird. But at the same time, like, you have to acknowledge the dude got shot in the gut in the late 1800s and has already bled out a significant amount and has now passed out. That dude is fucked.
He's not looking.
With a capital
There,
fucked.
if there was ever a bus for him, he'd be struggling right now.
It's true. It is very true. He
And
is not just
also,
on the struggle bus. He is driving the struggle bus to Struggle City.
yep. And Guilty Cigar now has left. He's on the train. He's going away. And he's also blown up the bridge. So we will find out what's going to happen next episode.
Yep. We sort of did this out of order-ish, so I'm not wasn't paying attention to everything that I wanted to bring up.
Oh yeah, just
Uh,
bring it up now.
yeah. We didn't really talk about like the start of the race. We talked about a little bit the start of the race, but the fact that
Oh my god, wait. Is
not
it the Gatling
Gil,
gun?
yeah, the Gatling gun thing, where they just casually mow down part of a house and then drive through it as like there was a dude living in that house.
Well, I mean, there's no house anymore, so he's just a dude.
I mean, there's still half a house. Plus the fact
Yeah,
that
I mean,
when the camera cuts to the other side, that's a different building that they then truck through. Like it was some rickety
wait.
ass old wooden house on like that they drive into, but when the camera cuts to the other side, it's a brick building now. So that's two buildings that he drove through at least.
Or it's just inconsistency in the
Or it's just
animation, and they forgot
inconsistency,
about
but
it.
I'm assuming it's like two buildings back to back.
Yeah, could be.
So that man drove through two different buildings in his fucking big ass truck.
So, question: what happened with the brothers when Gil was doing his whole shtick?
I think they were just fucking hanging out, dude. I think they acknowledged that they were not the target, and so they just chilled out behind their car.
But they were there, right? Because
Yeah, I think so.
I don't remember seeing. I think I remember them reacting to Gil showing up, but then after that, I don't see them at all.
No, I don't
Which
think we do.
left me wondering. Which got me thinking, like, you have a Gatling gun, just
Yeah.
slow the motherfucker down.
I didn't even think of that until you just now brought it up, but yeah, they had a Gatling gun. Realistically, Gil should have died in this whole thing. When Gil rolled up on two fucking other armed outlaws, if they had done like a fucking draw off, Gil would die. One of them, like one of Dylan or TJ, would also probably die, but Gil would be dead. That being said, you're absolutely right. If the two brothers had just fucking broken out the Gatling gun, they would have just mowed his ass down.
Or when the guys are coming up, when he gives a signal, just mow them down too.
Yeah, they would all be in like a group, just. Tuk, 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 tuk. I mean, that thing is literally a fucking box of bullets.
Which makes me think maybe they weren't there at the time, or they just
I mean, but where
leave.
else? They were on a perfectly flat plain. There wasn't like trees or bushes to hide behind. It was
Right, I
like
guess
basically a desert.
I'm guessing the writers just forgot about them. They're like, what do we have them doing? Like, nothing.
I mean, they just wanted the effect of like you're surrounded, but they didn't think of the logistics of all right, that train is like probably 200 yards away from them, and those dudes had to be standing somewhere. It's not like they're gonna belly crawl through the again very flat ground, and people aren't gonna see them.
And also, if you're gonna have the Gatling gun, like you set it up in the first half of the episode.
Yep.
I was expecting a payoff with it, but then the Boers don't do anything. So just get rid of the Gatling gun and just have him truck down the fucking the house
Yeah.
instead of like bringing it out. Because now I know it's there and I want them to use it again.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll use it next episode, and they had like some stupid reason for not using it now.
I mean, there probably won't be a reason of like why didn't you shoot Gil? We didn't think of it. But maybe you're right. Maybe next episode, because I'm assuming they're not just gonna give him $1.5 million and Gill's be like, "Yep, this is everything I wanted. Here are your hostages back." I mean, Gil strikes me as the sort of asshole villain who's like, "I'm gonna take the money and kill the hostages. I'm
Wait,
gonna
I thought
have
the
it
money
both
was in the
ways."
train.
No, because he tells them they have to go collect it, and then
Oh, okay,
like they have to
okay.
come find him. Which again, okay, worst villain of all time. You drive off with the train and the hostages, and you tell them, go get
But
$1.5 million, and then find me." You don't give them any way to contact you. You just say, "Come find me, motherfucker." This is
I mean,
the late 1800s. How the fuck are we supposed to find you?
Nick, he's on a train. Like, there's only there's only so many places it can go.
I mean, but still, is he just gonna fucking chill out on the train? It's not like they have satellite imagery. They're just gonna follow the train tracks and hope they find the train, and then he's still on the train.
Maybe he just like stopped at the first stop the train got to.
Maybe.
But that'd be really dumb because then the authorities come by and like shoot it up.
Yeah.
I don't know. Gil's kind of an idiot.
The worst villain of all time. I mean, the dude's a badass, but at the same time, he's sort of an idiot.
Oh, Gil, what are you gonna do with you?
I mean, he just sort of casually rolled up on a group of dudes who had a Gatling gun. Even if they didn't use the Gatling gun, I'm now upset because they had one. And Gil just walks up on them, and
What
he's
I'm
like,
saying.
"I'm here. I'm Gil. I'm the bad guy. Dodge this, bitch." Yeah.
Bury this, you casual.
Fucking casual. Oh.
But that's a pare. We'll find out what Guilty Cigar's gonna do next. Well,
And
actually, I'm
if
guessing he's not gonna do
Kosame's
anything.
going to be alive. I'm assuming all of next episode is going to be Kosame's dead, Apari's upset, they have to rebuild the car because the car's on fire currently, and all the other cars are fucked up with like bullet holes in the engine block and shit. So I'm assuming a lot of the next
So
episode is going to be finding the money, rebuilding the cars, and burying Kosame's dead body because he's definitely dead.
they're gonna be they're gonna have a pare create a super mega car now, with the parts from all the other cars. It's
And
gonna look like
that's how we're gonna.
fucking garbage.
Oh, maybe I wonder if the one dude is on the train or off the train. The engineer turned manager
Oh, not Big Boss, but like yeah, the
Yeah,
manager guy, the manager of the
of
race
Ford.
car,
I don't remember what race company it's supposed to be.
the American one.
Yeah, it's one of either Ford or GM, I think.
Yeah.
Because if he's not on the train, if he's not one of the hostages, it'll like all come back around. He's gonna like put in the turbocharger system into the new car, and that's how they're
Bam,
gonna
bam,
catch him.
boom. Set up, payoff. Let's
Yeah,
fucking do it. If that doesn't happen, I'm gonna
I
be
mean
kind of
that
pissed.
relies on him not being on the train. If he's a hostage, because he could be a hostage, because Gil would know that he's an important dude. I could understand him being a hostage. So if he's a hostage, I would understand why they wouldn't do it, because
Right,
Pari
but
wouldn't know
or the
about it.
thing is, there should still be some sort of payoff with that setup
There
at
should
some
be. You're
point.
right. Yes, which is why I'm hoping he's not a hostage, and that's how they're gonna do it.
I think they could still pay it off if he was a hostage. Like they kind of sneak up to the train, like to try to help him out, but like they're like, oh, just go away here, get this thing. Here's some schematics for what you can do. Because I just have them on my body for some reason.
I don't think he's carrying around the fucking turbocharger with him in his pocket either.
No, I mean like the plans for it. Like here's how I
Oh,
designed
you're
it and
just the
shit.
designs for it.
Like here,
Okay,
take these papers, yeah, like or take this suitcase, and then come save us later. Because right now you can't do it on your own, or shit like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can do something like that.
Maybe
But that's all up to the writers and
he'll sketch out like a
Netflix
rudimentary version of it in the dirt and show it to Pari and be like, "It's like this, and this is how it works." Yada yada, and
completely
Pari will be
understand.
like, "I know this."
They're gonna have a mind meld, Nick, where the guy's like, here, just look at the numbers that I see in my brain, and and the person will be like, I see them.
Use your tentacle hair to meld with my tentacle hair. It's definitely not a metaphor for sex. Actually, it wasn't even a metaphor. They just straight up had like hair sex in that movie.
Yeah, in Avatar, that was straight up sex.
Yeah.
Well, Nick, speaking of avatars,
Speaking of avatars, are we talking about
of
the second
avatars.
Avatar movies?
Oh no, I was gonna talk about Decadence, which is just
Yeah.
Avatar.
Yes. Um, because yeah, we have well, basically a xenomorph,
Oh
but
my god, yes.
also
We have a tiny little guy, a tiny little guy doll, who he's a little baby, and they're kind of mistreating him. They're like, oh yeah, you little piece of shit, get the fuck away from me, you're dying. We
I
look
don't
at
know
him,
if mistreating him so much as acknowledging like it's dead anyways.
but the guy doll,
They throw it across the room, which is a little bit excessive, but yeah.
yeah, but he's got a little trick up his sleeve where he like injects or like hits one of the guys with like a little antenna before it dies. And that kind of starts this chain reaction of everything
Yeah,
that
because
we'll get into
as
later.
we come to learn, this little Gadol is actually a face hugger in disguise.
Facehugger.
I mean, that's basically what it does. It injects its larva into the dude's stomach until it rips out.
Yeah, yeah. It's true. I was thinking that the Gadol like just it injected itself into the guy rather than
Ah,
like
okay.
yeah, rather than it being like its offspring. It was itself
See,
basically.
I think it's its offspring because it was a different color. That is why I think it's
Yeah,
its offspring. Um,
yeah, that makes sense.
but we
But
will get
also the
back to
xenomorph
the
like
xenomorph thing
yeah,
because for now we have to deal with the fact that fuck, what's her name? Natsume. Natsume
Natsume
has
has
learned the truth and cannot
the
deal
truth.
with it and passes out almost immediately. And as
It's a lot
she,
taken.
it is a lot to take in. But as she comes back, to consciousness on the drive back home, she talks, or Kaburagi talks to her about everything you know isn't real. It's all made up, and I
It's a
have been
game.
lying to you, and all these other things. And she learns about the fact that if Kaburagi had told her the truth, the system would have killed her because bugs aren't allowed to be alive, much like her father. We also get
Well,
to
except in
see,
this case, that's not really true because she wasn't tracked, so
yeah,
but he didn't know that I guess up until that point where
it's
he
true.
had already.
But we get to see a flashback to the very first scene of the show, as we get to see a little robot buried in the dirt because we
Oh,
finally
Robot,
actually
yeah.
know enough to know what it is that we're looking at. So I guess judging by the size of the thing that they were looking at in the dirt, they're like, it looked like it was about 3/4 of human size.
They're pretty short, like about 2 feet, 1 foot to 2 foot, 2 foot, I think.
I don't know if they're that short. They were like
Short,
at
maybe like
least half a
waist height,
human size. They
like
were like at
waist height,
least two and a
yeah.
half to three.
So waist height,
Yeah.
about it. I don't know. If I see a little robot the size of like the shape of Kaburagi and it's 3 foot, I'm gonna think that thing's pretty fucking big. Like a little robot
I
though,
mean, yeah.
which
Especially,
means Donatello's pretty big. He's like 7 foot.
oh yeah, Donatello is, yes, large even by human standards, I feel like.
Larger and in charge.
Absolutely. I mean, dude has a gun. He basically is
Like,
well, technically it's
he,
like a Mega Man blaster for a hand.
he's a swole Mega Man.
He is. I was really hoping at some point he would like take. He doesn't have two hands for it, but I was hoping he would like grab his little helmet protrusion thing and throw it like a knife.
Like Kirby does
Yeah,
with one of his little hats. Yeah, the little scimitar one, I think, or the cutter. It was cutter.
yeah, the cutter. I was also thinking of I think it's in Dragon Ball, which is where Goku is still young. I think somebody has that a helmet like that as a weapon, and they like
Mhm.
throw the knife thing at somebody. I want to say Master Yoshi, and he just takes in the face. It was definitely a manga of bits like that where people got like seriously injured, but then they like pop up and it's just sort of awkwardly stuck like a half inch in their brain, like they do little like
But
blood spurts coming up.
I believe that.
Um, but that aside,
Natsume,
all
yeah,
of Donatello and the height thing, Natsume has learned the truth, and she is not super thrilled.
yeah, she's a little upset, like a little upsetty spaghetti, as I would be. The guy you really trusted. Now it turns out that he was part of the lie. He was deceiving.
Yeah. And she
So she's upset.
says something completely insane in saying that she wished that nothing had ever changed and that she never learned the truth and never done anything to fix it, which is insanity. I mean, that was just straight up like a horrible thing to say.
Yeah, but she kind of not doubles back, but like realizes that that was a dumb thing to say later on.
I know, but still, like even in the moment, you should have realized that one because you basically what she's intrinsically saying is like, I want to continue to like be attacked by Gaddles and have my people killed. Like even if yes, maybe the world
Yeah.
isn't as real as you thought it was, like the Gaddles not being alive and learning the truth is way better than dying all the time. Um, but yeah, so
I
they
think
have that little conversation.
I think something that would have made a bit more like made it a little bit better, like made it not seem so stupid, would be if she was specifically or like she made it clear that she was talking about learning that Kaburagi was part of it. Like she'd be
Yeah,
okay if Kaburagi like was still kind of lying to her about how he didn't even know it. Like he kind of came across it.
it also would have made sense if she had said something more to the lines of like, "I wish you hadn't involved me in, you know, doing
The
all
blowing up of the
this."
thing, yeah.
Yeah, we're like, you can do it. I don't care. Like, get rid of all the Gaddles. That's good for us. But like, I didn't want to learn all of this.
Yes.
I didn't want to get involved if this was the result. Um, but they have that conversation, and Kabaraki is sort of broken a little bit, and he goes home alone and sees Pipe
Pipe
dead.
is gone.
Yeah, we
May
sort
or
of
may not be
predicted
gone.
that.
We'll see.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he's
If
gone.
I don't see a body 6 feet under, Nick.
I mean, we saw the clothes on the ground and no body, but I mean,
Nick,
it's
no,
not
no
like
body, no death. No body, no death.
I mean, it's dead. It's just dead, Brandon. We saw them all dissolving into the air. It's dead. Accept it.
But did we see Pipe dissolving into the air?
I mean, but do we need to? When you saw the pile of clothes on the ground, what else could have happened?
See, like, I'm okay with him being dead, but like in terms of just like fiction in general, like if we don't like explicitly see someone dying, they can always bring them back to life for some stupid reason.
I mean, they can, but they really shouldn't in this case.
Like, I really hope he's actually just dead. Like, if he's just dead, I'm completely okay with it. But I feel like they might try to bring him back.
I feel like that would be cheating if they did.
I hope they don't. Or the new Gadol becomes the little pet. Like they tame it and then it becomes a little Gadol.
I don't know
Or
if I'd
maybe it
want
has
to
little babies.
to fucking tame that thing.
Maybe it'll have a little baby, and that one is going to be like, nah, piece of shit.
That's how every like horror movie starts, or not horror movie, but any of those like monster movie starts is where they're
Furby?
like,
Not
yeah,
Furby, sorry.
they're like this small version of it is going to be nice. Like we can train this one not to be an asshole, and then it always turns out to be an asshole at some point.
All right, Gremlins. That's the one I was thinking
Yeah.
of.
That's don't feed them after midnight, and don't pour water on them. I think.
Right, but so there's still the whole like it's cute, and then it becomes monstrous.
Yeah, and it divides very quickly into like a million of them.
Okay, that's what it was. I've never watched the movie.
Yeah. I think it was when you fed them after midnight, they turned evil, and when they got wet, they multiplied. Is I think what it was. Maybe I have those backwards, but it was something like that. Where like if you broke the one rule, they got evil, and they broke the other rule, they multiplied really quickly, and that was how it turned out.
It would make more sense if they multiplied if they ate something.
Yeah, that's why I think I might have it backwards. It would make a little bit more sense if it was the other way around. And wet animals do tend to look like nightmares. Yeah. See wet koalas.
Oh my god. Back to Decadence. They go back to Decadence. Natsume is now kind of being distant from
everybody.
Kaburagi. Well, yeah, everybody just in general. Kurana tries to like reel her back. You know, she's happy that all the Gadol are gone.
Yeah.
But Natsume knows the truth, and she's not really able to tell her either, because then the same thing's going to happen to her. That Kaburagi had mentioned.
Yeah, because the system won't allow people to know about the existence of the system.
Of it.
Which again, I want to complain about this again. We still don't know why the system exists.
Yeah, we don't know yet.
It irritates me.
But we also see Yugen, like looking for Natsume, or who looking for the lady who he had seen earlier.
Yeah. He's doing like a citywide scan, but he learns that, oh yeah, she doesn't have a chip, so I can't find her. Guess I'll have to do it some other way. And then the bird comes up with a plan, and he's like, yes, let's go with that plan. But we don't know what the plan is.
Which I guess it turns out that the plan was just wait for her outside of Kaburagi's apartment.
Yeah, basically.
Simple plan, but it fucking works, so, you know.
I mean, that is one of the basic plans of law enforcement is let's just stake out the suspect's apartment, and at some point they'll come back, and that's the one suspect they know about is Kaburagi. But while he's doing that in the shadows that we don't see, Kaburagi logs out, leaving a message for Natsume that he writes, and he breaks out of the underground poop prison and drives off to safety, or at least
surprised he can drive that
a hideout. Yeah, seriously, given how short they are, I was hoping that they were gonna have like a stick taped to his leg so he could work the pedal or something,
or like a little booster seat.
Yeah, because there's no way that he should have been able to operate the pedal and drive that car.
Right. And then something happens. I didn't really catch what happened here, but Jill's like looking through a couple of messages and logs, and then he sees Natsume's face, and then like he has a realization that he has to go save her.
Oh yeah, she's looking at the fact that they're all listed as bugs now and marked for destruction.
So now the system knows about Natsume.
Yeah.
Okay. So my understanding was correct. I must have missed like a little line here or there.
Yeah, because they're talking about the fact that Kaburagi wants to tear down the whole system now, and Jill's basically saying like, "Oh, I want to be out. Like, I don't want to get involved in this, but looks like we're all marked for death anyways, so I guess I have to because I've got nowhere else to go."
Mm-hmm.
And
So they
then
head off to like a broken piece of decadence, which has a couple of little knickknacks that they can use to have Kaburagi go and avatar himself into his old body.
and as he logs in, we see Natsume running up the stairs and busts open the door to his apartment, and they basically slam into each other. Where they then get to have a little conversation about Kaburagi's just doing whatever he wants, and he's leaving her behind. Which okay, so Kaburagi logs in all in a hurry because he's learned that Natsume is a bug, and
And
then
about to die.
runs into and is about to die, and then runs into Natsume, and then proceeds to just have this other conversation with her. Dude, what the fuck?
Girl, you're about to die. Like,
Yeah,
leave.
I feel like if you randomly ran into somebody who was you knew was marked for death, you wouldn't have a conversation about like, oh yeah, I wasn't very nice to you and I could have treated you better, and yeah, I am acting like a mean person who's gonna leave you behind right now. You would definitely be like, look, we could table all that. You're gonna die soon. You are straight up marked for death. We need to hide. Run and hide is the plan right now. But instead,
Which,
Kaburagi just sort of stands there and does nothing.
I mean, to be fair, like it wouldn't have worked anyways. The run and hide strategy because Yugen was already there.
Yeah, but still, they could have tried.
Yeah, I can see that. But yeah, then Yugen shows up, kills Kaburagi with the hand through the chest.
Yeah, the hand through the
Well,
chest
kills the
jutsu.
avatar,
He punches a hole through his heart as
and now Kaburagi's back in his avatar form, and he needs to find a way to save Natsume.
cyborg form, not his avatar form.
I'm sorry, his cyber form. Yeah. And then we see that little Gadol, little Gadol's baby from the beginning, is now this massive fucking centipede looking shit
Yeah,
because it's been eating a bunch of like the gears, I think.
yeah, it's been crawling around eating people's heads and possibly their entire bodies, and it's been accumulating mass, and it's now the size of Decadence.
It's
As
not ready to harvest that mass.
yeah. It's gone for the bulk. It's ready for cut. It's gonna have a perfect beach bod. But yeah, it has turned into a disgusting monster.
It looks pretty crazy. It's very different from like the first little cute thing that it was
It very much
with the
is.
big eyes. But here's a hot prediction for you.
Hmm.
Kurenai is gonna see the Kubaragi's avatar body and still fall in love with it.
The cyborg.
Yeah, the cyborg body. She's gonna think it's like super cute and shit, and gonna hug it.
That would be interesting.
Because at some point they're gonna see Kubaragi's cyborg body,
Right.
and
You're
there's gonna
probably
like
right. They probably will at
coexist and
some
shit.
point. I just don't know when that will happen or why that'll happen.
I
Is
mean,
probably a
it
better way to
has
say.
to happen in the next 2 episodes.
Yeah,
Well, why the why is there? Kubaragi no Hollander has his avatar body, so has to use his real body in order to save her.
but they're not close to decadence, are they?
No idea. No idea how close. We know that they're close to the big Gadol, and I think Kurenai and some of the others like her like saw it.
Oh, did they? Okay, maybe.
Think so. They might be using the Gadol to get closer to it. So I assume it's like making a beeline towards it because
Uh,
it wants to feed.
right. Because I know that the sanctuary that they have was broken off pieces of the decadence. But we don't know
Yeah, where
necessarily
that
that
is.
those are close to where it currently is because it does move around a lot.
Yeah, because like there's no real sense of timing between where their the poop factory was and then where the Decadence currently is. We just know that it was a drivable distance.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess maybe it's probably not more than like a day's drive away. So it's very possible that they are kind of close to each other.
But we know that Natsume is in immediate danger right now.
Yes.
So we'll see how that turns out.
Although we have seen that Hugin does like to interview bugs, so maybe he's going to do some sort of like, tell me about why you're still alive. Tell me about why you're a bug.
Tell me, well, we're here today.
What did you think was going to happen today when you came here today?
I didn't come here. You came. You came here.
Oh God, it reminds me of that Key and Peele skit. I came here to fuck this young white girl. You here for that too? Did you just get done? How is she?
Oh my god.
No, sir. I'm Chris Hansen from To Catch a Predator. I don't know who that is.
I
Don't
think I
worry.
remember that skit.
I won't tell anybody you was here. It was a weird skit.
But that's Decadence. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about, Nick, regarding the show?
I don't think so.
I think right now our biggest gripe is like exploring what the system is and why it's a thing.
Yeah. It's really
And
like
we
the
have,
only mystery that we have left.
and like that has we have to find out what's going on because we're going to be destroying it, so we kind of need to know like what it's doing.
Yeah.
In the next 2 episodes, unless there's like some second season. But I feel like this show is like tapering off into like the story ends and then that's it. Like the story ends and we're done.
This is an anime original, right?
Yes,
And Apara Raman is too as well, yeah?
yes, both are anime originals.
Okay.
And that's what I want. I want it to taper off to an end and actually just have an ending and then boom, like start to finish. This was the story that we wanted to tell, and not shoehorn in like some sort of second season.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they'll do that because I don't know how popular this show is.
I kind of hope that it does have like a good ending that sort of sums everything up and, ties it all together and provides some sort of like this is the future of like things that will go on, but it's not necessarily like there needs to be a second season sort of ending.
Yeah, like the return to the world where they probably can continue living on decadence and then just with the robots and stuff. It's kind of like that, like their daily lives of what's going on.
Right. Although it will be weird to have like humans and robots. So this is a thing that it was, sort of occurred to me as I was watching this whole thing was like the humans are regular humans in every way other than they have the chip. And like do you think they like as new babies are born, do like the system come down and like inject them with the chip or are they just born with a chip inside of them?
I'm not sure. This is like I think the world is interesting, but there's like a couple of pieces of it that kind of don't make a lot of sense, and I wish they would like explore a little bit more.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like how do the Cubans get the chips? We don't know how they get the chips yet.
Because we know that the gaddles
Because
are produced
yeah,
inside of the factory and they can just make the gaddle around the chip. But with the
so
humans, it doesn't make as much sense.
yeah,
Because they're not like the first generation of humans that are living inside of the decadence, I'm pretty
we know
sure.
that for sure because there's Natsume's father.
Yeah. So
So
like
I'm not
humans
sure.
have been born in the decadence and have chips somehow.
Maybe there's like doctors there, and they're all gears.
Maybe. I don't remember what the captain's skin tone was. Maybe there are some like human skin tone gears because
Well,
Kaburagi has this.
Kuburagi has a human skin tone. The commander has like it's just kind of whitish,
Uh huh.
kind of pale, and then the other gears look really weird.
Yeah, they all have
Different
purple
colors and stuff.
or bright
Which makes
green.
sense because like that's the avatar they create. So you can just give it whatever color you want.
Yeah, for them it's a video game where they're not really actually a person. They're just sort of a murder.
Video game character.
Yeah, video game character there to kill aliens.
So yeah, we'll see. I hope it explores more in these last 2 episodes because I really want to figure out what Kuburagi is destroying. Um, Otherwise, then I'm just like, all right, well, he did the thing.
Yeah, he
I'm
fucked up
not.
those machines. Don't know
He
why.
yeah, he really screwed them up, didn't he?
I mean, we know why he's fucking them up. We just don't know why they deserve to be fucked up.
Yes. Well, we kind of know why they deserve because
No,
it's kind
yeah,
of a
not
shit
deserved.
system.
Why they exist to be fucked up.
Yeah. Well, why it's a shit system to begin with.
Yeah. Why they're so insistent on continuing it too.
But yeah, that's decadence. And our next show is GOH, God of High School,
Yeah.
where we continue kind of like the two storyline stuff where there's one thing happening and there's the other thing happening. The other thing happening in this case is Nox shows up to try and fuck up the tournament.
Yeah.
Along with looking for the key.
But thankfully
And
this time, the other stuff is actually the
yeah.
slightly less important stuff. Like, we get to the screen time, which, given what I complained about last time, I think this was a good balance of, we saw it a little bit, but it wasn't the main focus.
Right. And I did like that too. I still would like, so your main gripe was that this, like, the side story what's going on, or not the side, but like the B line, the B side, the B plot.
Yeah, the Nox stuff.
I wish that stuff was a bit more intertwined with what's going on in the A plot, rather than just kind of like it's going to affect it maybe at some point.
Right.
Like it might stop the tournament, but like it's not really. The only time it's intertwined was when Jin had to go and save his grandfather.
Yeah.
And that had the ticking clock of him having to go back to the tournament. So they were both, they both had stakes,
Well, that
independent
also
of each
had.
other. But
Meanwhile, you fought a Nox
yeah,
dude.
so like the two conflicts are independent of each other, but they still kind of, well, no, they're not independent of each other. They kind of, there's bits and pieces that work together.
Yeah.
And this one, we didn't really have that. We kind of have it at the beginning and the end where they split out and then they kind of reach back into the middle after we find out who the key is, or
Yes.
one of the keys, maybe.
One
I
of the
don't know.
keys potentially.
But anyways, it's Nox trying to invade the tournament,
Mhm.
and all the what are they called again? I forget. The tournament guys, just
The organizers, directors, I
the
don't remember
yeah,
either.
directors, organizers, whatever, protecting the tournament. And
Commissioners.
yeah, okay, I guess commissioner's a good one. But they're protecting the tournament. As that 1/6 guy too, the
Oh yeah,
vagabond,
the vagabond.
him too, and they're protecting the tournament. And in the tournament itself, we have um,
We do
our
not
main
have
our
yeah
main
the two
trio
teams we thought were going up against each other. We have the main trio, the Soul
trio,
Team
and
against
then the like the senpai kind of a colleague, the rival
yeah
trio.
the Tiger Hoodie guy and
Oh, it is a
friends.
tiger, yeah. Tiger Hoodie guy and friends. So the way the fight starts out is the girl and Dai fight each other for a couple of minutes.
Hmm.
Dai wins
Dai wins.
because
Although
he used
okay, so I did actually kind of like their fight because they do the like oh your first strike really matters and she does like this sort of open like
palm
palm
like
heel
yeah
strike to the side of his to his head to like mess with his inner ear and give him like weird fuzzy vision and stuff like that.
wobbly shit yeah
Yeah, that is actually a real thing.
yeah there's fluid in your
Recently
ear.
it was I think this year was the Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder fight. And it got stopped really early as because Deontay Wilder got hit in the side of the head right on his ear and it ended up bursting his
Oh
eardrum and he basically could not
ah
fight from that point on because his balance was super fucked up.
yeah that's why if you spin around a lot, that's why you get dizzy and can't stand up straight, is because the fluid in your ear is kind of like all wonky and shit and has to settle down.
Yeah. So there is actually like their little thing about like, oh yeah, if you get hit like right there in the side of the ear, like the reverberations can actually like fuck up your ear and make it like basically impossible for you to stand up. That is actually a real thing and like has happened in real fights very recently. So I thought that was kind of cool to see. I don't think the reason it was included in this was because of the Deontay Wilder fight, but I did think it was a cool, connection there.
Welcome to biology with Brandon and Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know things mostly because of that one boxing fight.
um and then he wins because he's got like some blue water power now. I
Yeah.
assume that's something to do with his Charbok.
Yeah, it has something
um
also to do with his training injury on his face. He's got some like
yeah,
plaster
he's doing
bandage thing
special
over his
training.
face. He's doing special training with the Joker Scythe guy. We don't
Was it Joker
know.
Scythe guy? Because
Yeah, I
I
think it
thought
was
it
Joker
was.
Scythe. Because the
Oh,
Joker
wait,
Scythe was
sorry.
really poor because he has 9 months, no pay,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
so
yeah.
he's cooking for him.
Okay, so sorry, I was confusing another scene where Devil Guy is talking about the gods, and I thought he was
Yes.
specifically talking to Day about that, but it's all three of them. He's giving the whole rundown to
Yeah, they're giving the whole rundown to them. And he tells them like, "Oh yeah, we can't tell you anything about Nox, but if you win the tournament, we might tell you something about Nox and your grandfather."
them. Which actually, now that you mention it, this is something I wish I'd done much earlier. So Jin's reason for joining the fight was because he wanted to fight strong people, which I guess is kind of okay.
Hmm.
But this goes back to the whole interweaving between with the Nox thing is, from the very beginning, his grandfather was missing.
Yes.
And the reason he joined in my opinion, the reason he should have joined the tournament was because these guys know about his grandfather, so he needs to find out, what's happened with his grandfather. So he joins the tournament to get these guys to tell him, and they gave him this whole like, not ultimatum, but this like bet, like, hey, depending on how far you get into the tournament, we'll tell you more about your grandfather.
Hmm.
That's a kind of a good way to mix the Nox stuff because his grandfather is really intertwined with the Nox stuff. To get the Nox stuff and him kind of, all situated in a kind of a better story plot sort of
Yeah.
style.
Especially because
Since
it could have been he wanted to get stronger because his
he
grandfather
wanted to
was on
save
the
his
run
grandfather.
from people, so he had to save his grandfather. Exactly.
Yep. And it kind of, I think it just fits a bit better than what they had done. What they've done.
Yeah, I agree.
But Dai still has the same issue where he just doesn't really have anything to do.
He really
Um,
doesn't. He wants to
Unfortunately,
get a Charbiock, and maybe he has, maybe he hasn't. We haven't seen yet.
yeah. I assume that the water stuff is his Charbot because we also have the fire god who's like the nine-tailed fox who uses or
But
like a fire
I
fox.
guess he didn't actually have his Charbiok, I assume. I guess we don't really
Uh,
know.
we don't know. Here's this whole thing with the whole like the power shit. I don't know what the power
Yeah, well, so
related to
Jin
Char.
Mori has like his dragon kicks thing, but I don't think he has a Charbiok. Like I think he just has the dragon kicks thing.
Right,
And
but is that like a more inferior version of Charbok or like
I don't know,
what's
I think
going
that's
on
just
with that?
like you're strong in this world and therefore can do like magic shit for some reason.
Maybe,
I mean, we saw with that one dude who got eaten by the shark, like magic exists. Dude cast lightning bolt and
but I
didn't
thought
have
that
a
was his
Charbiok.
ability. I thought that was like his Char thing.
I think that's just like he can cast magic.
I don't know.
Because his
That-
grandfather
The
was one of the six, and I think he was the sorcerer. So I'm assuming that's just like his family is like magic.
maybe I guess it's like martial arts magic type stuff then,
Yeah, maybe.
right? Okay, I guess I can see that. I feel like so. I think what's gonna happen is that like we learn later on that oh you've always been using Char, just like an inferior version of it. Like that's like the reasoning for why this type of magic exists.
Right. Um.
Which I assume is gonna the way his Char. I mean, when I say his, I mean Jin. The way his is gonna manifest is like as a dragon. It's like a blue dragon.
I. We can talk about this now. So, Tiger Jacket manifests
Yeah,
his Charbiok at the very end of this episode as he
and
has
he
a vision
becomes
of the White Fox and
yep.
becomes the key. As he unlocks the power of a god, I think is what the key thing was, right?
I assume Amaterasu, because that's the way the White Fox is how Amaterasu is sometimes shown.
Maybe. But specifically, so in the scene you referenced earlier, when Buddha Palm, whatever his name is
Yeah.
talking to the three of them. There's a shot of when he says like, "Oh yeah, they're the Nox want
Oh,
to awaken a
all the
specific
gods.
god." There's a shot of a tapestry with there are four gods on it. There is
Oh,
the
only
White
four?
Fox, there is the Buddha, there is a dragon, and there's Wukong.
Oh, I think Dai's Wukong.
So I thought
Maybe.
Dai was going to be the dragon. I thought Dai was going to be the dragon, and Jin Mori was going to be Wukong.
Oh, that makes more sense. That makes more sense. Mostly because I think another. Well, I'm hypothesizing this from Persona. The way that you get the I think it's the Hierophant, the best Persona from the Hierophant
Hmm.
is that you need Koryu. Was it Koryu? It was Suzaku, Koryu, Genbu, and then Byakko. You fuse all of them and they become the dragon, and that would make sense for Dai. Since he uses the little like the four legendary monsters already, it
Uh-huh.
makes sense for him to have like the god dragon as his Charbok.
All
And then
right, I'm willing to accept that. Yeah.
right, um, and then for Sun Wukong, in terms of Jin, I am kind of what's the word for it? I'm kind of metagaming this. I am taking the poster for the show.
Hmm.
He has this headband type of thing, and I think usually Sun Wukong is depicted with a headband.
Like the headband that he like the eye mask headband or a different headband?
What I mask headband?
Because he always wears that eye mask, that like green eye mask thing.
Oh no, like a celestial type of headband
Ah,
is what he
okay.
manifests. Because that's what it looks like in the show or in the poster.
Hmm.
And I think Sun Wukong is kind of depicted with kind of like that sometimes.
Okay. Well,
I think I've seen it.
if Jin ever gets a cloud or a staff, we'll know.
Basically, the show is becoming Dragon Ball.
Yes, accurate. Well, I
He's
think
Goku.
I kind of now that Tiger Jacket has manifested a god, and we saw the poster of like other gods that exist in this world, that I'm assuming exist in this world, I should say.
Maybe there's more than those four gods.
Maybe there are more. But that's what I'm assuming is going to be like the next step up. Because like every time we've ratcheted up the power level, we've ratcheted up the power level around our main characters, so like the fights are still intense. So if we go up to god power, like other people have to now have god power. So that's why I'm assuming
Possibly.
Tiger Jack has it now. That's why I'm assuming Jin is going to get a god power, is because he needs to then power up to be like on the same level as him. And then to fight other people, they're going to have to be other god power people. So I'm
I
assuming we're going to have other gods.
I would agree, but I think what's going to happen with this guy is I sense a vague like Sasuke arc with him, where now that he's a key, he's gonna go off with Nox for some reason.
Oh, we already have
And
the guy with Nox though. We have blue hair with
but like
Nox.
we have blue hair with Nox, but he's not the key, so who really gives a shit about him? Like we know for sure this guy's like super important now. So either he's gonna die or he's gonna like be an enemy for a bit for some reason.
Well, Nox has already shown some like weird bullshit ability to like borrow god power because they summon god air quotes this episode with their
So
like
which makes me think there's more than one god, or there's more than the 4 gods.
Yeah.
There's just some of the gods.
So I'm assuming that if anything, blue hair is going to get like the power of one of the Nox gods and become like the Antichrist essentially.
Possibly.
Which
But he
is
already has a
weird.
Chara though.
He does. You're right. Yeah. I'm assuming they're just. I actually don't know. Nox is weird. Nox has weird bullshit abilities sometimes.
Nox is just fucking wild. I don't know what the hell's going on with them.
Yeah.
So, something I like, not like, but I thought was funny, is that like everyone on the 6 side is doing fucking work, destroying everything. All the Nox guys are just fucking useless.
Well, not everyone on the 6 side. Everyone on the Commissioner side.
Yeah, Commissioner, sorry.
Because there were only 2 members of the 6 there. We haven't seen the gangster dude or the one girl.
I mean the Commissioner, I guess. The Commissioner side, or the Devil Guy side. Because it's Devil Guy versus that one white-haired dude. And they're doing like their whole like raise their hand up to this guy.
The Nox dude summons the sword from the heavens, and Buddha palms it back up, and then they summon God to like crush it into the ground. And then the Vagabond comes to do his dance and summon a whole bunch of like bullshit to fucking stop to break the sword.
It was the Gate of Babylon, but in reverse.
It basically was.
But with that, like all the Nox guys are like, there's a bunch of Nox guys in a circle, they're chanting and shit, and then they're just getting their shit pushed.
Oh yeah, the cannon fodder, the red shirts of the Nox. Yeah.
Like they weren't doing anything at all. They were just letting themselves be handled.
Oh, absolutely. They just got fucking destroyed by the Commissioner, and they're all the dudes in suits. They just got fucking torn apart.
So white-haired guy's army, not a very good army.
No.
Kind of trash.
We kind of knew that, though. They got the shit pushed in by Jin Tae-jin until dude came down with his fucking god sword and actually, like, fucking ended the fight. We assume. We actually didn't see what happened, but I'm assuming he ended the fight.
We do have a nice little mini arc with the fight between Jin and, I don't remember his name.
Ilpio.
Ilpio, okay, Ilpio. Or Ilpio says, "Hey, you have these issues with you. Like you like aren't good at close combat," which is weird because
he's all close combat.
One, he's all close combat. 2, the way he fixes it. Well, I'll get into that in a second. He's bad at close combat. I think the third one is
he telegraphs his moves, and his moves weaken him too much.
Yes, he is using his body way too much.
Yeah.
So
he fixes this by basically borrowing his friend's power.
He has to find a way to basically fix it so that he can beat. Yeah, which is kind of I got set up earlier where he says where their friends say, "Hey, we all win, not just you. Like it's us. Like we're a team." And he does. He starts getting the upper hand by using some of his teammates' abilities, like the Saku punch, or no, the Genbu punch. The Genbu punch.
Yeah, Black Turtle punch and the swordless knife
and
hands.
The moonlight beams. Which for some reason, that's close combat. Is shooting moonlight beams from 6 feet away.
Okay, so that's what I took it as. Instead of having close combat, he was like, "Fuck it! If I'm not good at close combat, like you say, I'm gonna launch fucking knife hands at you from 6 feet away." So like he's dealt with his not good at close combat by instead going with like medium range combat.
I see. I'll believe it. Yeah, that makes sense. I can see that.
I mean, it was bullshit, but it was. Yeah, I'm assuming that's what they were going for.
There's a way to read into it that doesn't make it seem like complete bullshit.
I mean, yeah, kind of. I mean, it was very power friendship.
Yeah. In this case, it was power friendship, but in a way that I like it, where he's actually he learns stuff from his friends and is actively using it, rather than my friends believe in me, therefore I win.
Therefore, I've gotten stronger somehow. Yeah.
Yeah. But Ilpio, at the very end, kind of like seems to be losing, but then he awakens his power and becomes a fucking god. Yeah. And then gets little cat ears or fox ears.
Fox ears.
And is about to wipe Jin off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
I think.
Unless Jin manifests his Charbyock like now, he's fucked. I
Um,
don't think there's winning this for Jin. Which
and to be fair, I don't want Jin to win in this fight.
no. This is the interesting thing about the way this tournament is set up is that Jin can lose and still win.
Right, because it's a team sport.
Right, because they only have to win 2 of 3 fights, and they've won the first one. So if Jin loses, then Yu is going to fight the other regular dude on the other team, and they're just gonna have like a regular person fight.
Well, not even regular. She has Charblock. She could just
Oh yeah,
summon
and she has
Lu Bu
the
and
fucking
wipe the
sword.
floor.
She's got the
Yeah, and she
sword
also
and Lu Bu.
yeah, she has the God Sword and she has Lu Bu. And the other guy looks like a generic character.
Yeah.
So he's going to die.
Yes,
He's
accurate.
going to be wiped out.
Unless they pull some bullshit reasoning of like, I don't even know, because it's the semifinals, like everyone on a team has to get knocked out, and so they'll just do like a round robin of like keep rotating.
Oh, and then Ilka just destroys everyone with his slap hands
Yeah.
martial arts. I actually kind of like the martial arts fighting in the beginning of the fight between Jin and Ilpio. I thought it looked kind of nice.
It was mostly pretty good. There was a couple sections. So there's two things I want to bring up. One was there was a couple sections where like the moves didn't seem like they actually landed.
Yes, that's true. Like you would see like the hit, but they didn't follow through, and that
Yeah.
seemed a little off. I didn't like that part.
Oh, not just
Um,
that. That was something. That was the other thing I was going to bring up. Was yeah, but there were some scenes where like it was especially like when they were blocking shots. Was there like there were some kicks where you would hear the noise and like see the kick like bounce back, but their legs actually never came together. Like there was still very clearly space in between them when they stopped. So like it didn't look
hmm.
right sometimes. It was a little bit weird. It was only a couple times, but like I was kind of paying attention to it because it started like something was off in my head of like this fight just doesn't seem to be like the noises in the fight sequence doesn't seem to be like coming together. And so I watched it through like 2 or 3 times before I finally realized like some of these like hits aren't actually connecting. Like they're not actually going like fist to arm or anything. Like they just
Yeah,
stop in air. It was a little bit
the
weird.
the impact frames weren't there, weren't long enough.
Yeah. But the other thing I
Which
wanted to
kind
bring
of
up was
sucks.
yeah, kind of what you alluded to is that, like the hits, like the actual hits, they just didn't feel meaty. And the way I want to compare it to is Megalobox, which was a show kind of similar to this one in that like it was all tournament arc and dudes got beat the crap beat out of them all the time. When Joe got hit in that show,
Oh, it
you felt it.
felt it.
Like those hits were satisfying. You knew like how much he got rocked from some of those hits. This show, like people get hit and like you just don't have a good sense of like how much did that actually like how much damage did that really do to them? Like
It's
dude.
either because it's way too high, like the whole hammer thing
Mhm.
from a couple episodes ago. Like that's a lot. Like that had like a huge follow through and everything. And then Day just kind of punches it.
Yeah.
And this one it seemed the opposite effect where it just they didn't like it wasn't the hits didn't feel strong enough. Maybe what they were going for is something more like they were not jousting but sparring.
Uh-huh.
Because they have the whole the one girl I think mentions like how they look like they're like a teacher and student, like
Mhm.
how it's coach and student basically
Yeah.
coaching him through how to like fix his fighting style. Which I actually kind of liked. It was interesting.
Yeah, it was.
Um, but like yeah, the actual hits themselves they weren't meaty enough.
Yeah. They
But
definitely did not
the
feel like they were actually fighting. I think
yeah
sparring is a good way to describe it because it really felt like they would get punched and it like you would see their face and they would just have like the very light scratch marks, like the black lines of like you got hit here, but it didn't really feel like there was an impact there. Where like Joe's face would be like fucked up and swelling and bruising and stuff, and like you knew that he was getting hit.
yeah, I did like the choreography though. Like
The choreography was good, yes,
God, it
I
looked
agree.
cool.
It looked
I'm a sucker
smooth. There
for
wasn't there
martial
wasn't
arts
like a
stuff.
jankiness to it that it sometimes has.
Yeah,
Other than the fact that some of the blows would stop in air, and it was only a couple in one of the like sort of wider shots where you could see both of them in the beginning. There were
yeah.
only like 4 or 5 hits that didn't really seem like they connected to anything at all. It was still smooth. It looked good. Um, so this was something I did want to talk about. The music of this fight.
Actually, I
Did
liked it.
you? Okay, I thought you would.
I,
I
I
didn't only because of the reason why the music existed.
I liked it because I think I know why. So there's one huge reason I liked it. is because when the Babylon starts like doing his whole like little dance thing and using his reverse Babylon,
Hmm.
they start playing the drums, and the drums feed into the strings that come up when Jin and Ilka are fighting. And I
Yes.
thought that was a nice way to kind of segue them together and kind of mesh the scenes better.
I did not like it because there were strings. There were no strings in that band. If it
Oh,
had just been in percussion instruments, I would have liked it more because then it was the actual music that was being
yeah, yeah, yeah.
performed by the Vagabond troupe. There were no strings in that group. It was all percussion instruments. But the music was strings and I think some wind instruments as well. I think there was like some flutes or something at the
Maybe
end. I'm
I,
not
I
super
I
good at
recognize the strings
identifying.
more.
Yeah, I'm not super good at identifying instruments, but there was definitely the strings. There were no strings in that band, and that's what I was not. I liked the music. The music was good and well executed, but for the reason that it was supposed to be in-universe music, I did not like it because there were no strings in that band, and therefore that was either wrong or they just added the strings on top of the like in-universe. They added non-diegetic strings to the diegetic percussion instruments.
Yeah. I think. Well, I'm not sure how it would have worked the Jin fight without the strings.
Hmm.
I'm sure it wouldn't have been bad. But I don't know if it would have been better or not. Maybe like in terms of I don't know. I think it was fine with the strings, but I can see the complaint of like mixing the non-diegetic and the diegetic sound of the drums.
Yeah. I
I
mean, they
did
could
like
have
the
had just like a sitar or something in the back, and I would have believed it. Like if they just put a person on a string instrument, I would have been fine with it. I just
I think the
wanted there to
reason
be the instruments that were being played in the music.
Right. I think the reason they didn't do that was because, like, I guess it must be like some sort of more traditional like style of drum stuff where it's just percussion instruments and drums.
Hmm.
But I don't know Korean culture to know enough.
Yeah, I forgot that it was Korean culture.
Oh, fun fact: the director of the show is Korean.
Really, that's kind of cool.
Yes. Um, but another piece of animation I liked was all the drum playing. It looked really nice. It was very sharp. The guys just look for uh, for a show that's not about playing instruments, those guys looked like they were fucking having fun. They were having the time of their life
Oh
playing those
yeah,
goddamn drums.
they were fucking jamming out on the top of that roof while the dude
Yeah.
danced and shot a fucking missile launcher and an M16.
So it wasn't M16. Okay.
It was. I mean, you couldn't really tell.
It
It was
was an
just. So,
American. It was an American assault
yeah,
rifle.
it was some assault rifle. It was very blocky and there was no like identifying features. For all I know, it was a fucking Warhammer bolter.
Right.
Um, but yeah, he just fucking broke out like a box full of weapons. Do you think that's like his troop? Like those are the dudes he always uses, or was he just like, I'm just gonna go hire some random band because I just need somebody to play music while I do this?
Dude, I don't know because if I was just a random band playing drums and I saw God come down from the sky with a sword, I would stop playing and just piss my pants.
Yeah,
I think they like knew what was going on.
but I mean,
Also,
he's a
do
vagabond. Do you
people
think he has
see
money to
this?
fucking? I mean, that is a good question. I'm assuming yes,
Okay, he's a vagabond, but I assume he's got like a cult of drum players. Like that's his cult.
maybe. I'm assuming that yeah, people can see them because people saw the Joker. I'm pretty sure when
I don't know if they saw him. That's why when Jin like reacts to it, it's special. Like the devil guy's like, oh, he sees it.
oh does he? I
I,
don't
I
remember
don't know if I
anymore.
don't know if it's confirmed that they can see this shit. I think all they see is like Jin and Ilpio like smashing their foot on the ground
Yeah,
and then just recoiling after the couple seconds.
he just like fucking. I wonder if they could see the weapons. They just
They would wonder like, why is that guy's hammer so big?
yeah. um,
Where was it?
where where did he keep that?
Because usually like in most shows, in order to see the power, you need to have the power. Like they do that in Hunter x Hunter, they do that in JoJo, they do that in Percy Jackson. That's not an anime, but still,
Brandon just wanted to bring that up because he remembered it.
yes.
I mean, you might be right. I don't remember. There hasn't been. I don't remember people reacting to the shark attack either. We saw like the fighters reacting to it, but I don't
So,
remember the audience reacting to it.
Nick, real quick, are you recording?
Am I? Yeah.
Okay, thank God, because I'm pretty sure I have no audio.
Cool.
I just looked over, and none of the levels are going up.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I'll add to my list. Double check audio. Anyways, I'll figure it out after this. Is there anything else you want to talk about for God of High School? GOH.
I don't think there is. I think we
Huh?
brought it all together.
Yeah, we talked about basically. We both brought up the things that we wanted to talk about, basically.
Yeah.
Bim Bam Boom. It's God of High School. Not much you can do to fix like the plot issues up to this point because we're in the 10th episode now.
Hmm.
Um, I can only hope that they kind of reconciled both plot lines into something a bit more streamlined.
Yeah.
Coming up to the next episodes. Oh, sorry, 3 episodes. There's 3 episodes left of this. And because it's like a long-running manga or manhwa, I see the ending being like, here's the end of this arc. There's still much more left to go. Read the manhwa
Uh-huh.
type of ending. Whereas with Apara and Decadence, I think we're going to get something more concrete where like we get the ending and then we see kind of the effects of the story on the characters and their return to their world. So we'll see what's going on with that.
Yeah. I don't know
So,
how much of God of High School we've skipped is the thing.
no idea. I have no clue.
Because we could be still relatively early and they could try and set up for like a season 2. Because I think there's a lot of it that's been written.
There's like 300 about chapters, but I don't know how long the chapters are in relation to like minutes in an episode.
Yeah. So we could be somewhere in like chapter 40 or 50 or like 100 and something.
Yep.
Or like 200 and something if we skipped a lot of filler and other stuff that they do and is not tournament stuff. So yeah, we can see. Maybe they'll set up for a season 2, or maybe they will just set up for like this is sort of the end, but nothing's resolved. But I think
season 2. Setting an episode so that season 2 can always happen. And also like, hey, go read the manhwa because usually anime is a huge
advertisement for
the light novel or for the manga.
Yeah.
Or merchandise.
Yeah, that is a better way of putting it. Is advertising for the merchandise. But I do think of the 3 we're watching that the other two, Apari Ramon and Decadence, will have much more final endings. Is sort of how I want to put it.
I'll be mad if they don't.
I'm hoping they do. I'm tired of open-ish endings. I want like just finality.
So Nick, what would you like to sell out to today after this fine episode of ABC?
Today I am going to sell out to the Rush Hour movie franchise. Rush Hour, Rush Hour 2, and Rush Hour 3 with Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan. They are all phenomenal movies. I was reminded of them because they also have some kung fu, much like God of High School, as Jackie Chan is a martial artist who does all of his own stunts, I believe. And it has Chris Tucker being a fucking badass and mostly just telling a lot of jokes. But they're great movies.
He also directs a lot of movies, or directed a lot of movies. I don't know how.
I don't know what he does now. Probably fucking sits at home and counts his hundreds of millions of dollars. But they're all 3 are great movies. If you've not seen them, because they are kind of older movies now, I would very much recommend them. So,
Nick, we are the boomers now.
I know, we are getting close. So yeah, my shout out this week goes to the Rush Hour movie franchise.
Oh man, speaking of a boomer pick, I'm gonna sell out to Alien. From 1985.
Oh, your movie's even more boomer than mine. Mine at least came out while we were alive.
Oh my god, 1979. It's a much older than I thought. I think Aliens is 1984.
Jesus.
But anyways, Alien, the first one, one of my favorite movies of all time. Alien and Aliens are very different movies. What they have in common is the xenomorphs. Alien is much slower. It's much more horror, and it's much kind of like creepy and thrillerish and scary. Aliens is more of an action movie, and they're both great on their own. So I guess I'm selling out to both. But Alien and Aliens, fucking awesome movies. Go watch them if you like sci-fi. Go watch them if you like slow paced. If you like The Thing, you'll like Alien or Alien.
Do they both have Sigourney Weaver as Ripley, or does only one of them?
Yes. So actually, I think up to the 4, Sigourney Weaver is the main character. In Alien, she's not really the main character because they try to kind of not confuse you, but they try to make it clear that everyone's kind of there to die.
Right. They're a ship's crew.
Yeah. So everyone kind of has their own kind of scenes and their own story. No one's focused more than the other until the very end, where because Sigourney Weaver's character Ellen Ripley is the last character. Of course, we're going to focus on her some more. And then Aliens, it's really more of Ripley's kind of story, trying to make sure this crew of like firefighters, not firefighters, but like mercenaries, doesn't die, because she knows how the xenomorphs work and stuff.
Hmm.
They all die, except for Ellen. Oh, and the girl. But anyways, that's Alien and Aliens. Go watch them. Great movies. Love them to death.
All right, so those are our sellouts. We both sold out to movies. I don't know if that was on accident or if we both just separately planned to sell it to a movie today, but we have. Nobody's here, and we get nothing for these sellouts, but we sell out every week to things that will never give us money.
Have a good night.
Yeah, have a good night.